Jeannette Johnson is one of our nursing instructors for Laredo College. Jeanette, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Doing well, thank you.
Here at the South Campus, the home of the nursing program for
Yes.
Laredo College. We'll get into a little bit about yourself and all of that, but just out of curiosity, since you're the first nursing instructor that I've interviewed, how does teaching nursing differ from other courses?
Yes, so I can only speak for nursing because that is what I have been teaching thus far, but I feel that teaching nursing is very unique and special because nursing, the discipline of it is a art and a science. So being able to teach that, at times you can't really teach some of the things that come innate, like compassion and kindness and care for others. But overall, our program is very rigorous and we have very high expectations. So it is definitely one of the very challenging programs. For instance, our grading scale is different than the rest of the college. So the expectations are definitely higher.
Does teaching nursing change year to year, or is it the same set of...
It's our same curriculum, and we changed it based on evidence-based practice, but for the most part, it'll stay the same. They have 4 semesters with basic all the way to advanced nursing.
Dumb question. Do you have to be
Never
a
a dumb question.
Do you have to be a nurse to teach nursing?
You do.
Okay,
You do
just
have to be a
checking.
nurse.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So then tell me about yourself.
I wear many hats. I am a mom, a wife. I am a native from Laredo and born to parents that immigrated from Nuevo Laredo. And I have been a nurse since 2011, and I began my career at Methodist Hospital in a medical surgical unit.
That's in San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Okay.
And then I got my master's at TAMU, Master's of Nursing, with a concentration in family nurse practitioner. And somehow destiny led me here, having children and whatnot. But I didn't realize this is one of the something I never hoped for that I actually love doing, and it just so happened by chance. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're talking about 2 different professions. I mean,
Correct.
most teachers, they went into teaching because
Correct.
they wanted to teach.
Yes.
You didn't start out as a teacher.
No.
When did you know that you wanted to be a nurse?
I knew I wanted to be a nurse. I didn't necessarily have an interest in anything specifically, but I knew that I cared about people, and I knew that I wanted to do something that allowed me to be creative and allowed me to use I'm an extrovert, so I have a lot of extroverted skills, and I have a huge heart. And so I actually took one of those college quizzes. And it tells you based on your personality where you need to go. And surprisingly, nursing was one and teaching was 2. So I guess they were right.
You've accomplished both.
I guess they were right.
Up until that point, you didn't know what you wanted to do, would you say? Or?
I think I wanted to do it all, if that makes sense.
Well, as an extrovert, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Definitely
I wanted to
does.
do it all. There was nothing that I realized I didn't want to do because I hadn't given it a chance.
Yeah. Any family that's a nurse? Nobody. So this is just something that came about for you.
Right. It just, I feel it really aligns with my morals and my core values.
Yeah. What do you love about nursing?
I love that people don't forget how you made them feel. They may forget your name, but they're not going to forget how you made them feel. And I have experienced that on both ends. 1, being a patient myself, and 2, being a patient's family member.
You're really with someone at times at the worst moment of their life.
Yeah, the most vulnerable. So it is a privilege and an honor to be able to care for those that can't care for themselves.
Yeah. At what point did it switch to teaching? How did that opportunity become available?
Not only do you have to be a nurse, but you have to have a master's degree to be able to teach nursing. So I had both. Boxes checked.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I started having a family. And the thing and the beauty about nursing is you can work in so many places. There are nurses in the hospital, there are nurses in colleges, there are nurses in the school settings, there are nurses at the jails,
Right.
there are nurses everywhere.
Sure.
So the beauty of it is that I started looking into other avenues and teaching was one of them. And so because I knew teaching was part of something that I could be successful and feel fulfilled, that's kind of what led me here.
Yeah. How long have you been at Laredo College?
I've been here since 2018.
Okay. And how many years were you a nurse?
I was a nurse since 2011. So I was a nurse for 7 and then came here, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah. Your thoughts on Laredo College as a whole?
I absolutely love it. I love the community that we serve. I like the experience that we provide to the students. I feel like it's a close-knit community, family. Our students at one point will take care of me and my family. So they're not a face that I will forget or a name. And I've always said it like, I am a nurse before I was a professor. So I approach my students the way I would do my patients.
Yeah. What does the typical LC nursing student look like? Not physically, but if you could describe the typical LC nursing student.
The typical LC nursing student wants to be here, and they worked really hard to be here. They take their courses very seriously. They're very respectful. They're polite. They're caring. They're professional, and they are who will take care of the rest of the community. So they empower every moral or core value that I would want in a nurse as well. And they're very hardworking, and I see myself in a lot of them because I myself am my first generation student. Some of our students actually commute from Nuevo Laredo.
Okay.
So it's not your typical college student, but it's unique and typical to Laredo, especially in our border town.
I've heard a lot about the nursing program here at Laredo College. I've heard it's tough. It's difficult, but that's not a bad thing when it comes to nursing, is it?
I think that it should be tough. A lot of my students will, make jokes and say, Ms. Johnson, this is the hardest exam I've ever taken. And I tell them that should be, because you'll be taking care of a patient's life. So it shouldn't come easy.
Yeah.
But then we grow their critical thinking and their clinical judgment skills to a point where they are confident and they are able to come into the field as an entry-level nurse to practice safely. That is our main objective.
What do you think has made the LC program so successful? I mean, number one in the state of Texas. What has contributed to all of that?
I think the passion and the drive of everyone involved, the administration, the faculty, the students, it's definitely a success that cannot be just given to one entity. It's interdisciplinary. Also our partners in the community, the hospitals, the rehab centers, our clinics, schools. We work with so many people, so it takes a village, literally.
Yeah. What is your approach going into the classroom every start of the new class period?
Yeah.
How do you approach it?
I've always felt, and I get this a lot in my evaluations, that my classroom is always a safe zone. It's a place that you can come as yourself, and of course with all of our guidelines, and you can come and you can learn, and you can be vulnerable to make mistakes and to learn and to ask questions. I empower my students. I see them as colleagues at some point. They will work alongside me. As a matter of fact, some of my previous students right now are my role model preceptors for my students today.
Oh, nice.
So it's a lifelong somewhat of a relationship. So I let them know from day one that we are a team and that we are all here for one goal. So overall, my classroom is fun. It's tough. But it's always with a goal in mind, and that is to serve the community in a safe way.
What does a typical class look like? Is it lecture?
Yes.
Is it hands-on? What is it?
Yeah, so our typical class, we start off, we do lecture. There's a lot of open-ended discussion. My students, if you were to ask them what my favorite word or question is, why? They'll ask me, I'll ask a question, why, what's the most important vital sign? And they'll answer the correct question, and then I ask why. And that is always where they are stumped. I teach the advanced med surg.
Okay.
And so they come in knowing all the information, but I always have to connect the dots and ask them why. So it's always great to know what you're gonna do, but we need to know why. So
What is the most important
airway,
vital sign?
breathing, circulation.
Okay.
And
Is that an ABC kind
they
of thing?
make fun of that too.
Well, I
They say,
figured it's
I'll
an
never
approach.
forget the
Yeah.
ABC.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 years from now, how do you see yourself approaching this? And would you still like to be here, you think?
Oh, I think I will definitely retire from here.
Yeah.
I want to practice what I preach. I always tell my students, we have our BSN program. So I always tell them, this program should not be your last. You should always strive to climb the educational ladder. And so I plan to get a doctorate in nursing practice. And eventually, I don't know where that would lead me. I'm still fairly young. A lot of the times I get confused for a student. I did so this morning, but I do want to continue giving back.
Yeah. What's the average class size for what you teach?
About 50.
Oh, 50.
50,
Oh, that's
yes.
a good number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what do you tell each student as they prepare to get into the real world? What should they? What's usually your message?
I think that I prepare them into the real world from day one. I tell them the type of nursing student you are is the type of nurse you'll be. So from day one, I always explain that time management, prioritization, and clinical judgment and critical thinking is real world life skills that they should learn as a student.
Yeah.
Because if you can manage yourself as a student, you should be able to manage yourself as a nurse with patients. So in other words, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others.
Yeah. You mentioned at the beginning, there's some things you can't teach, like compassion, being kind.
Mm-hmm.
Do some students realize, I cannot do this because...
I think so. I think some students decide they want to do nursing, but they want to go another route.
Yeah.
So they want to maybe look at cases, like medical records, and find risk management or something to that effect, or maybe nursing, but they want to go the anesthesiologist route, like CRNA.
Mm-hmm.
So this may be a stepping stone to something. Not every nurse belongs at the bedside, and I think that's also respectable as long as they can identify that early on.
Yeah, it's almost like a discernment process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this
You won't
really
know
for
until
me?
you get there.
Yeah. So if there's a student that is considering
Mm-hmm.
going into nursing, what would you tell them about the LC program, and why would you encourage them to try and get in?
I would say that it is the best nursing program in Texas, and that here you are not just a number. You will be remembered, and we will always treat you like we would our patients. And we have a wonderful team, and our goal is to get them to the finish line and beyond. And this is just one of the best places to come. I wish I came here as a student. Now that I'm thinking about it, and we're very affordable as well.
For sure.
And we also have an RN to BSN program, so that is also a plus.
Yeah. You love what you do, don't you?
I do.
Jeanette, thank you for your time. Anything you want to add before we wrap up here?
Come apply.
There you go. Thank you, Jeanette. Nice meeting you.
Yes, nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your time.